Boundaries are often misunderstood as walls that push people away, but in reality, they are bridges that protect connection. When you set a boundary, you are not rejecting someone, you are respecting both yourself and them. Think about the people you love the most. The relationships that feel safest and most fulfilling are usually the ones where each person knows what is acceptable and what is not. A boundary is simply the line that allows you to show up fully without resentment. Jay Shetty often reminds us that love without limits eventually leads to exhaustion, and exhaustion breeds frustration. Saying yes when you want to say no slowly drains your energy and turns kindness into bitterness. Real love, the kind that endures, is honest enough to say, "I value this relationship so much that I need to protect it with truth." Setting a boundary is an act of love because it preserves your ability to give freely instead of giving under pressure. Imagine a garden with a small fence. The fence is not there to keep the flowers from growing. It is there to keep the garden alive and safe from damage. Your life works the same way. Boundaries are not barriers, they are care systems. When you tell a friend you cannot answer calls after midnight, you are not punishing them. You are protecting the sleep that allows you to be a present and healthy friend. When you let a coworker know you cannot stay late every evening, you are creating space to nurture family, creativity, or rest. Without these clear lines, relationships become tangled in unspoken expectations and silent resentment. The act of saying no may feel uncomfortable at first, but over time it builds deeper respect. People who truly care for you will appreciate your honesty, even if it takes them a while to adjust. Boundaries are therefore a form of love, because they safeguard the energy, honesty, and trust that relationships need in order to thrive. If boundaries are so healthy, why do so many of us feel guilty for setting them? The answer often hides in the stories we were told growing up. From an early age, many people are taught to be good by putting others first. We learn to avoid conflict by saying yes, to earn approval by pleasing teachers, parents, or friends, and to measure our worth by how happy we can keep the people around us. This conditioning creates what Jay Shetty calls the guilt trap, the belief that we are responsible for other people's emotions. When someone frowns because we said no, we immediately wonder if we are selfish or cruel. But the truth is that feelings belong to the person experiencing them. You can offer kindness, but you cannot control how someone reacts. Mel Robbins often explains that empathy does not mean carrying another person's pain on your back. Compassion allows you to care, but responsibility means you own their reaction, and that is a weight no one can carry for long. The guilt trap is powerful because it masquerades as love. We think we are being caring when we sacrifice sleep, health, or peace to keep someone happy. Yet what we are actually doing is teaching them that our needs do not matter. Over time, this erodes self-respect and builds quiet resentment. Breaking free begins with awareness. When you feel a wave of guilt after setting a simple boundary, pause and ask, am I really doing something wrong? Or am I just stepping out of an old pattern? Recognize that discomfort is not proof of cruelty. It is simply the growing pain of reclaiming your space. The people who truly value you will adjust and may even be inspired to set healthier boundaries themselves. By releasing the belief that you must manage everyone's emotions, you open the door to relationships built on honesty and mutual respect, not silent obligation. Before you can strengthen your boundaries, you first need to recognize when they are weak. The signs are often subtle at the beginning, but grow louder the longer they are ignored. One of the clearest signals is constant exhaustion. If you end most days feeling drained, not from physical work, but from emotional overload, it usually means you are giving more of yourself than you have to give. You might notice that your phone buzzes with messages and requests long after you wanted to rest, and you answer anyway because you fear disappointing someone. Another sign is the quiet resentment that builds after you say yes to things you secretly wanted to refuse. You might smile on the outside while inside you feel a small flicker of anger toward the person who asked and even toward yourself for agreeing. Jay Shetty often talks about how resentment is a hidden messenger, telling you where a boundary is missing. Pay attention to the moments when you replay conversations in your mind, wishing you had spoken up. That inner replay is not weakness, it is your intuition asking for protection. Difficulty saying no is another warning. You may hear yourself giving long explanations or excuses instead of a simple, respectful refusal. You might even agree immediately and then scramble later to find a way to cancel. Sometimes the signs appear in your body. Tight shoulders, headaches, or stomach discomfort can all signal that you are living outside your limits. Relationships also reveal the need for stronger boundaries. If you feel taken for granted, if you notice that conversations revolve around other people's needs while yours stay hidden, or if you are repeatedly drawn into drama that does not belong to you, a boundary is waiting to be built. Recognizing these patterns is not about blaming others. It is about understanding your own habits. Many of us were never taught that it is acceptable to put our well-being first, so we keep stretching until we break. Awareness is the first step to change. Once you can name the exhaustion, resentment, or physical tension as boundary issues, you reclaim the power to choose a new response. Once you have identified where boundaries are missing, the next challenge is expressing them with kindness and clarity. Saying no is an art that combines honesty with compassion. Many people believe that a boundary must sound harsh or cold, but Jay Shetty reminds us that firmness and warmth can exist together. The key is to speak from your own needs instead of blaming the other person. Instead of saying, "You always call at the wrong time," you can say, "I value our conversations and I need to keep evenings free for rest, so let's talk during the day." This shifts the focus from accusation to self-care. Practice short, clear phrases, "I'm not able to take that on," "That doesn't work for me," or simply, "No, thank you." Avoid long explanations that invite negotiation. Your decision does not require an apology. Body language matters as much as words. Stand or sit with open posture, maintain gentle eye contact, and keep your tone calm. A soft but steady voice communicates respect and confidence. If you fear that someone will react negatively, prepare a repeated response in advance. You might say, "I understand this is disappointing, but this is what I need right now." Repeating a simple statement helps you stay grounded when emotions rise. Remember that you are not responsible for managing another person's reaction. Some people may test your limits or attempt to guilt, trip you, but a boundary is not a debate. It is a declaration of your values. Each time you say no with kindness, you teach others how to treat you and you strengthen your own sense of self-respect. Over time, setting boundaries becomes less about defense and more about love. You are not closing doors, you are creating clear paths for connection. Saying no allows every yes you give to be wholehearted, generous, and free of resentment. Setting boundaries is only the beginning. Living with them consistently is where the real growth happens. At first, it might feel uncomfortable or even scary to enforce a new limit, especially if people around you are used to the old version of you who always said yes. Some may test the boundary by ignoring it or trying to persuade you to bend. They might call you selfish or dramatic, hoping you will return to the familiar pattern. This is the moment when self-trust becomes essential. Remind yourself why the boundary exists. It is not a punishment for others, but a promise to yourself. You created it to protect your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. When someone challenges it, take a breath before reacting. Instead of defending or over-explaining, calmly repeat your statement. I understand you'd like me to help, but I'm not available. Consistency builds respect. People may not like your decision, but over time they will learn to accept it. Another part of honoring your boundaries is noticing when you are the one tempted to break them. Maybe you feel guilty and want to call someone back late at night or agree to a project you already declined. This is where self-awareness and compassion meet. Guilt is a natural response when you are unlearning years of people pleasing, but it is not a signal to give in. Treat guilt as a passing feeling, not a command. Journaling or meditation can help you sit with the discomfort until it fades. Celebrate small victories like leaving a party on time or turning off your phone during personal hours. Each action reinforces your new identity as someone who respects their own limits. Surround yourself with supportive people who honor your choices. When you see others practicing healthy boundaries, it becomes easier to maintain your own. Over time, consistency turns boundaries from a difficult task into a natural part of your daily life. They stop feeling like walls and start to feel like the shape of your freedom. Living with healthy boundaries does more than protect your schedule. It transforms the quality of every relationship and interaction in your life. When you clearly define what is acceptable and what is not, you invite people to meet you in a space of mutual respect. Friendships become more balanced because you are no longer silently keeping score or feeling taken advantage of. Family connections deepen because you can show up fully, without the resentment that comes from overextending yourself. At work, boundaries create a foundation for better performance. Colleagues know when you are available and when you are focused, so collaboration becomes smoother and more productive. But perhaps the greatest change happens inside you. With each boundary honored, your confidence grows. You begin to trust your own voice and decisions. The anxiety that once came from trying to please everyone starts to fade, replaced by a steady sense of self-worth. You also discover that real love thrives within boundaries. Partners and friends who truly care for you will respect your limits and even appreciate the clarity you bring to the relationship. Boundaries become a language of love because they create safety for both sides. They say, I value this connection enough to keep it healthy. Over time, you will notice that life feels lighter. Your energy is no longer scattered by obligations you never wanted. Your yes carries more power because it comes from choice, not pressure. Jay Shetty often reminds us that when we protect our own peace, we give others permission to do the same. By living your boundaries every day, you not only change your own life, you quietly inspire those around you to reclaim their own freedom.